Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the Silver Surfer Annual, issue number 7. Uh, and it's The Wrath of Morg. So, this is an aftermath of the miniseries Cosmic Powers. And it featured Morg, Jack of Hearts, Thanos, Terrax, an enemy called Tyrant, and I believe that's it. And there was some kind of a mini series when at the end, Galactus has many heralds, also some unknown heralds. There's also a person that is his equal called Tyrant, and he wants to, has Morg as a servant or something like that. There's a whole story about it, and this is the aftermath. Morg was supposedly dead, but Galactus resurrected him, and this continues the story, as you will. I have something to say about this. It's been written. What am I saying? Drawn by Ron Lim, and Ron Lim is. No, I'm lying. That's not entirely true. Tom Grindberg and Scott Eaton. I mean, this is Ron Lim's art. That's some kind of a, aftermath with the Legacy. Legacy is the son of Mar-vell before he turned crazy. I'm going to talk about the comic. So let's dive in. We see Morg here, ripping ships apart. And it's the Skrull Empire, and the Skrull cannot believe that one single entity could, kill them all. And he just flies through the ships and everybody dies. And he's on a mission. He wants to go back to Galactus because, according to him, he is the true herald of Galactus. Moving on and skipping a few pages, we see Silver Surfer talking to Mar-vell son, about the aftermath. This is not really interesting and that I think I need to go into, so I skip that. What is interesting is that we go to the world ship of Galactus and we see the other two servants, heralds of Galactus, called Airwalker and Firelord. I mean, these two are friends. They are from the same race. They come from Xandar. And I believe we saw the introduction of Firelord in Spider-Man, I guess. And the introduction of Airwalker in Fantastic Four. And he looked a little bit different. He has more clothes on and he looked more human, but that was a facade because he was more of an android or a robot. But they are basically come from the same planet. And but they are not big fans of, let's say Airwalker is more, he does what Galactus wants, and maybe because of his programming, I don't know. And Airwalker and Firelord is more rebellious, if you will. So out of nowhere, Morg bursts in and he said, "I'm back, and you need to get the hell out of here. You are not needed anymore." So, but of course, these two heralds says, "No, that's not going to happen. We're going to kick your ass, and we're going to, battle you," or something like that. So that's exactly what's going to happen. But Morg, apparently, is way more powerful than each and one of them. And we see some very gruesome. Well, if this was a real human, then all the guts will flow out. But, this scene looks very cool with all the flying parts and machinery that, being chopped into bits. Very cool. So the battle rages on. And also that, again, we see that Morg, he's a sadistic son of a bitch, by the way. You see, you guys need some punishment, and he hacks them in two. Or, he cleaves them in multiple parts, and then Firelord jumps in, but he gets his ass kicked as well. I love the part that there's the battle is more like a shadow image, and mostly if you see that with the red background, mostly it's more that someone is getting ripped apart. But Airwalker is crawling out of the ship, if you will, and he's gone. And and Firelord is about to get murdered. So, but Galactus is here, and he says, "You have returned," or something like that. And Morg says, "Well, I'm here only to serve you." And Galactus says, I live to serve you, he says to Galactus, and he says, indeed you do. I mean, remember Galactus? And once upon a time that he was feared, that people revert, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Respect him to a certain way, that he is imposing, incredibly strong, one of the strongest beings in the whole galaxy, and he's a force of nature. Well, in modern day comics, a writer called Donny Cates, who is retconning everyone and everything, is, made Galactus a little bitch. And what I mean with that, maybe I shouldn't go into that, but I'm going to do it anyway. So 4 was that at a time, I believe this was last year or something, called King 4, was the herald, I believe, of Galactus, and Galactus has some kind of enemy. Galactus absorbed 5 planets to be probably the most powerful that he has ever been. And 4 says, nah, brah, that's not what we're gonna do. And he kicked his ass in a couple of seconds and in one issue. They made Galactus a little bitch. That is unbelievable. I cannot believe that they did that. They retcon him totally. I mean, for me personally, if I look at Galactus, if I think of Galactus, I think, wow, this is an entity that you do not want to mess with. And you can say, well, 4 was at that time King 4, and he has also the powers of a herald. Well, according to Canon Wiki on the internet, there's multiple there, that even Odin, King of Kings, King of the North Gods, cannot beat Galactus only when he is at his lowest, when he is at his weakest. Not when he is the most powerful, when he has absorbed 5 planets. But, 4, he did it anyway. Bullshit. I totally disagree with that. So that's why I stopped modern comics, because all these modern writers, they do not have respect for characters. They do what they want. They don't care about continuity or power sets or whatever. No, no, absolutely not. Anyway, enough of the ranting. Moving on, Silver Surfers get a visitor, and it's of course Airwalker. And Airwalker warns him that Morg is getting his returns, and that he basically needs to be stopped, and then he dies almost, I guess. So, going back to the ship, Galactus says, "Well, I don't need my other servants anymore because they are worthless, and you need to dispose of them." And Morg is exactly going to do that, but he's getting stopped by, of course, none other than the Surfer. And Galactus is not very pleased about that, because he does that many times, and he has been warned multiple times by Galactus that if you keep interfering with my affairs, then you will be sorry, and there will be consequences. So what Silver Surfer is going to do, he is going to drag Morg away from the ship into space, and they have a battle. Morg is incredibly powerful, as I said before, but Silver Surfer is one of the, if not the most powerful herald there is, also the coolest in my opinion. I love his designs. It's very simple, but it's so effective. But it's his character that drives the story forward. Really cool. So Morg thinks, haha, I defeated you, I throw you off your board, and now I'm the king of the cosmic powers. But, Silver Surfer says, well, the board is a part of me, it's part of my being, it commands. I can do whatever I want with it, and the board is not yours. So, but even then, says Morg, even with all your board and your cosmic powers, you are nothing before me. Well, Silver Surfer's, nah, brah, that's not true. And he tried to prove it, that he is way more powerful. But then the unthinkable happens. The board has been cleaved in two. But, Silver Surfer has complete control of the molecules and the atoms of the board. He reassembles it and he attacks again. And I love the fact that the battle is going on and on instead of, two issues, or 2 pages, and then it's over. So there is a complete fallout between the cosmic powers, between these two, and the whole, planet or moon almost breaks. Surfer is victorious, and he also, oh, by the way, Nova, who is the female Herald of Galactus, he's been slain, or she's been slain by him. And Surfer says, I'm going to kill you now. But of course he's not going to do that, because he's the Silver Surfer. And he is actually very mad at Galactus, because Galactus knew that he wouldn't do that. He's mad at him because it seems that Galactus tempered with his mind when he was first created by Galactus into the Surfer Servers, when he was Norin Rad, and that he shuts off his consciousness, and that's the reason that Silver Surfer led him to planets with life on it, and so that the Silver Surfer cannot feel guilt about what he has done, because he knew that Norin Rad was a very sympathetic guy and, you know, wants to help people, and Galactus turned that part off. But now he's now himself again. So what's going to happen? He bargains with the Galactus and says, "Get rid of Morg. I will be your servant again, and I will do whatever you want." And of course, Galactus says, "You are a nuisance. You are rebellious. I don't have need for you." So they bargain a little bit more, and at some point, I think that Galactus has a soft spot for the Surfer. So he comes to agreement, and he says, "Perhaps you begin to know me as I know you, Norin Rad," because he actually needs him instead of Morg. But is that true? We will see. So going back to the ship, Airwalker is still alive, but his body is so much damaged that Galactus found a way to save him, although he wants to kill him just a moment ago. He's going to download his consciousness into the mainframe computer so that he can live again. And you see the sorrow and the pain on Firelord's face, because this is his friend. And Airwalker says, you need to pull the switch, and then he's, you know, gone. And we see his dead skull body here. And then Airwalker's alive, but then in the mainframe. And they are, well, he's still here. So that's a nice ending. And by the way, I love that part. I love the part that the friendship between Firelord and Airwalker is highlighted here so much. So this is not really a mindless battle comic, although I think this book is not really necessary, if you know what I mean. And in the end, Morg is still alive, but the other heralds doesn't know that for now. And yeah, so this it's going to continue in, I believe, the Silver Surfer series, if you have that. And then we have, you know, Mar-vell's son called Legacy. It's not really a story that I want to get into. What I want to get into is these cool looking, you know, pinups with Silver Surfer and Mephisto. Really cool. There's a couple of more here. You can check it out. Anyway, so is this a good book? Nah, not really. Like I said, it's not really necessary. It's more like, okay, Morg has returned. Silver Surfer kicks his ass. He's going to be a Herald of Galactus again. End of the book. And Morg still lives. Yeah, and this could have been easily explained in other Silver Surfer books. You know, make a complete longer story about it. And you know, have a fallout with that. Instead of doing an annual and, okay, we're going to round this part up. Moving on. So, yeah, is it good? Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not really necessary at all. Oh, by the way, I don't pay $7.45 for it. I just got it for 75 cents. Yes. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. See you next time. Bye-bye.